Hey guys, Jesse here, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the HG Noble Gundam from G Gundam. So, G Gundam week or month or whatever you want to call this continues with the HG Noble Gundam here. Spoilers, next time I will be looking at my completed Master Grade God Gundam, and then we'll see where we go from there with G Gundam stuff. But in any case, today the focus is on this gal here. So this is one of those designs where either you love it or hate it. I don't think there's really any in between. You've got your real robot fans and diehards that will look at this and think it's a big Sailor Moon Gundam and it's dumb and should never exist. And then you have the people who think this is probably the best design ever to come out of Gundam. So I love the Nobel Gundam. Of course, I love G Gundam overall. I was always an Alan B fan as well. I was always a Alan B cross Domon guy myself. But that's besides the point. It has nothing to do with this. But clearly, as you can see, it is a Sailor Moon Gundam. For those of you who don't know anything about G Gundam, basically each nation or each country has a Gundam that represents them in a tournament, and this is Neo Sweden's Gundam because the first two things I think about from Sweden are A, Surströmming, and B, Sailor Moon. So I don't know. You got me as to why this is Neo Sweden's mobile fighter, but it doesn't matter because in the end, this is a great design in my opinion, and a very good kit as well. It's a little bit older. It's from 2011, but even so, I think it still features not only great looks and proportions, but pretty good articulation. It does suffer from a little bit of its age, but overall, I mean, it's one of a kind. More than likely, you'll already have one of these, or you are desperately searching for one. Like I said, it's either you like it or you don't like it. It's very, I mean, that kind of goes for most things in G Gundam, but this one especially. So anyways, talking about the looks and proportions and stuff, I mean, it looks awesome, especially for older HG. I think the proportions and the colors and everything, I think it looks great, and the mold as well. Not a whole lot of surface detail, as all G Gundam kits I guess don't come with, but like I said, it in my previous review with the Death Army, it really fits the G Gundam aesthetic. They're not, to me, these are the one case where these are more like giant humans and not really giant mechs. You have a few paint apps missing that they do provide stickers for. I'll point them out when we get close up. And what I've done to this kit really is just panel lined it, did painting for all the paint apps, and top coated it. So nothing too crazy. I wanted a clean Noble Gundam. I was really tempted in doing a custom like pretty much everyone who gets this. I was tempted to turn it into Sailor Jupiter, which is my favorite sailor from Sailor Moon. But I don't know. Like I said, almost everyone does a custom, so I kind of just wanted a clean Noble Gundam for my collection. I was really tempted to do a whole paint job on this with pre-shading and like weathering and make it look like a real mobile suit. I'm still somewhat tempted to do that, so I may have to pick up another one with like water slide decals and everything and make it look like real and gritty and go completely against the cutesy aesthetic here. So, but that didn't happen with this kit. What you see is what I made. So let's go ahead and take it off the stand and we will take a closer look at it. So here it is, the Noble Gundam. As you can see, it's a very slender, dainty kit, but on the spinning base, as you can see, it doesn't really have problems standing up despite having very tiny feet and sporting high heels. But because it's so light and well balanced, I would say, it doesn't really have a problem standing. The hair does kind of give it some balance issues, but nothing too crazy to write home about. I mean, you'll be able to get into the pose that you want. But starting from the head to toe, the construction of this is actually really nice, and the part separation is quite decent as well, especially for the time. The red Vulcans there need to be painted, but otherwise all of this is color separated. I painted the eyes and the head camera there, so they do give you stickers for that, but not too hard to paint in there. The only thing I had problems with in terms of the proportioning are maybe the eyes. They seem a little wide-eyed. My girl kind of looking in two different directions there. I think that actually matches the line art pretty well, but I would maybe bring those a little closer if I were the one designing this, I would say. We'll talk about the hair later, but the head is very nicely done. The construction of this is kind of interesting too, because this V-fin is actually two parts. This entire yellow part here is one part, and this entire yellow part here is another part. So yeah, and then you kind of get the strands of hair on the side there, armor. So coming down to the torso, that white there, they give you a sticker. Went ahead and painted it. That's really easy to paint as well because it's a molded panel line. So you just need to make a wash of white and just fill all of that in. The torso is the only place where you have a seam line. So this, is it an ascot? I don't remember. I don't think it's an ascot, but this like armor fabric piece for the sailor uniform is actually three parts. So it's 1, 2, and then this back part is a third part. So there is a seam line between them, really easy to fix. And then the torso here is two pieces that way. So you need to fix a seam line under there, and on top of there. But again, it's white and it's on a flat surface, so really easy to fix. The bow or jet system or whatever the heck this is really nice. It's really nicely detailed. You do need paint in the black in there if you want to be accurate. The gem here, they do give you a sticker for. They give you two options actually. It's either a sticker that wraps around kind of completely like I have here, which I painted, or it's just a sticker that goes into that sort of center area. I'm not a huge fan of those kind of stickers, as you know. I'm not a huge fan of stickers, period. But the one that goes in the center that would probably fit really well. Here I painted it silver, did a clear green on it, and then masked it off using that sticker when I went to top coat it, which is why it has remained nice and shiny. The shoulders here, this is actually a separate part. I was really expecting this yellow part to be part of this whole blue armor, but no, it is separate. You do have to paint in that black. They don't give you a sticker for that. The articulation here is a bit hindered. It's just on a ball joint, and it has no sort of swinging motion, which is unfortunate because again, this is a sort of martial arts Gundam, so not being able to swing the arms around does hinder it a bit. The torso is on a couple of ball joints, which it's a little stiff in the paint, so I'm not going to mess with it too much. But here on the arm, the one sticking point about this arm is that it is a single joint, and that is as much as you're going to get, unfortunately. So this does hamper some articulation. Again, you can get into the poses you want, and I think that's actually helped mostly by the hands, because the hands they give you are excellent. I mean, these are some of the most finely sculpted and molded hands I think Bandai has ever made. And that's not a hyperbole. Like, these are really, really nice. They're all, not all of them, but this one's at an angle here. So you kind of have this sort of pose you can get with it. But you can also put it straight like that. So you can do some martial arts, like karate chop poses. But I think the movement in the hands and the shape of them and everything really helps for posing, but that elbow bend is a hindrance for sure. The skirts can be separated, so no problem there. The back skirt does not move, but it has this nice bow detail. Oh, I forgot to mention in the neck, there's this red choker. They give you a sticker for that. I went ahead and painted it. For the garter, extra armor protection there. And they give you a sticker for that as well. It's a raised detail, so it's super easy to paint. And also a side note, these two pieces aren't symmetrical, but they're very close. So I've seen some customs where they have double garters essentially, and you can sort of cut it to match. So again, these two pieces are left and right specific, but they're not too dissimilar from each other. As for the hips, you have your normal swinging hips, so the legs are actually really mobile. However, you only get a single knee bend, and it's only really a 90, which is a bit of a disappointment because, as you'll see later, this kit comes with an accessory that really encourages you to put it up in the air, and not being able to get a full 180 for flying forward poses and stuff does hamper it a bit. But again, no seam lines here, no polycaps either. So it's a very sturdy kit, and it goes together really fast. I think this, oh man, this might have taken me like 2 hours to build. And you know, that includes me going around and hitting all the painting just to build it, and then hit like detail painting on the way. If I were just to straight build this, I think I could knock it out in an hour. It's a super simple build. The feet here are really nicely sculpted. I don't know, this is gonna sound kind of creepy, but the shape and proportions of the individual elements of this kit are like pleasing. I don't know how to explain it. It's just really nicely proportioned. The legs especially they don't look too dainty, and they don't look too chunky or anything like that. They're just really nice. Nothing going on under there, you perverts, just normal Gundam stuff. There is a hole there for an action-based adapter they give you. It's not a great connection. It's really shallow, and it's also like a weird slot instead of, I wish they had just given you a hole in there that you could plug the action base into. I'm not sure why they made an adapter. Anyways, the ankles here are on a ball joint. Unfortunately, they just plug into here, and you can see how little surface area is in there. So I would suggest putting on some paint or nail polish or something to tighten that up, because it doesn't go very deep, and once you plug it in and it falls out a couple times, it does become a little loose. The sculpting on these feet are really nice, just because a lot of the time with HGs, when you have a single foot like this, there's no toe bend or anything. It kind of looks like the section between the heel and the toe has like the space in between that looks like it should be painted gray. Here, this looks complete, like this looks uniform. It doesn't look like it's two pieces molded together. It looks like two separate pieces, which I think is really nice. You are able to point the feet around, but there's no toe bend. The ankle guard does move, but it's like, I can't even move it right now. It's so slight, but it does technically rotate. Some hollow spaces under the feet, which is unfortunate, but it's not too bad. As for the hair, this entire inside part needs to be painted gray. It comes yellow, so I just masked it off and painted it there. Your choice to paint that, but I think it looks a lot better if it is painted gray. It is on a ball joint. If you pull it away from the head there, you can see it's on a ball joint, and you can kind of push it in to lock it in place. So it's not heavy enough that it'll fall on its own if you kind of push it in. I guess maybe that way. I know, there we go. So you can kind of get into some wild poses, but I think most people are just going to keep it down or just slightly off here. So, and then if you push it all the way in, there's little tabs in there in the head up here. That little tab there will lock into the head. It's not a snap or anything, it's just a tab. So as you can see, as I was posing it on there, I didn't have a lot of balance issues like I mentioned, but it can cause some problems just because you're on such tiny little balance points. That's it for the mobile fighter suit itself. Like I said, it's lacking detail, of course. It's a G Gundam kit, but what's here is just really nice, I think, for an HD of its age. Can it be better, especially in the articulation? Yeah, of course. But you're really getting this, I think, mainly for this, right? You're not really getting it for insane articulation and play features, etc. You're getting it because it's a Sailor Moon Gundam. So let's go ahead and move on to the accessories. So I'm trying to decide on what accessories to show you all first. She doesn't come with a ton, but what she has is pretty unique. So let's just start with the hands, actually. So you get a couple of holding hands, and they're nicely molded and nicely detailed. They are just the armor on the fingers. Unfortunately, I wish there was some palm detail. I mean, you get some here, but again, I always like it inside. Something I forgot to mention about the hands is that the armor pieces their pegs are really, really shallow. So I would highly suggest just gluing all of them. There's no reason to take them apart. The beam ribbon handles slide in there just fine without needing to take these apart. And yeah, they pop off really easily. So 2 holding hands. And then the best hand ever crafted by Bandai, the peace sign hand. And I sort of unironically mean that. The sculpting and the mold on this is just amazing. It's slightly at an angle there. And my only gripe with this is we only get the left hand. Really wish we got the right hand as well. But yeah, I mean, look at this. It's a peace sign hand. It's amazing. So how can you not display this with the peace sign hand? But yeah, this is really nice. So those are your hand options. And for those holding hands, you get a couple of beam ribbon handles. As you can see, they're super undetailed. It's just a stick on a beam emitter. Unfortunately, there's no place on the kit to actually store these. And I'll be honest, I don't even remember where she pulls these out of in the anime. I think from under her skirt armor. I'm sure someone will correct me. I just cannot recall. But anyways, pretty unorthodox slot here for beam saber effects because, again, it's a beam ribbon. And what you get for those, or for these, are these beam ribbon effect parts, which is like this weird, thin, spindly plastic. You get 3 lengths. You get that one, this one, which is a little tighter, but just as long. This one, which is like really short and spins around. And then you get 2 straight ones, which I haven't pulled off the sheet that it comes on, which is this kind of odd. I've never seen Bandai do this. I don't think they ever have since, but it's slightly sticky. And you just peel off the different beam ribbon effects, and then these 2 are just straight. And then what you do is you actually fold the end here. They give you a little ruler, actually, in the manual to show you the correct length of which you need to fold it. And it's a little tricky, but you just fold it and you put it in the beam ribbon handle here, and now you've got the beam ribbon. So yeah, and she can hold that, and it's meant to sort of go around her like that. And then they give you this little weight to actually weigh down the other end of the beam ribbon when you have this on her, because these are pretty springy. And if you've got her up in the air, they will sort of float, right? So you would want to weigh them down. So they give you this little weight for it to plug in. I wish this wasn't in red. I wish it was in a more less bright color. I really maybe should have painted this. But anyways, there's that. You get an action base adapter, which again is a very strange one. It's your regular size and everything, but it's just this little peg that plugs up into her butt, basically. And then for this, you actually get a stand. You get one of these things. I forget what this is called. I think it's just called an action stand. I don't even think they make these anymore, but it's got no articulation. As you can see, it's got these 2 sizes or stands you can put it on. This is mainly for like core fighters and stuff, so you're probably not going to use that. But you can take this part off, I believe. Yeah, you can have her a little closer to the ground if you want. But she stays up here nice, and it's nice they give you a stand, period. I mean, not many kits give you a stand. And she can go up there and you can use her beam ribbons. And she looks best in the air, I would say, twirling around her beam ribbons. So yeah, decent stand. It is what it is. It's very simple, but it's nice that they give you it, and it's nice they give you it in this sort of clear or somewhat clear color. And then finally, you get a pair of man hands so she can strangle baby Gundams with. No, so these are for the high-grade God Gundam, actually, so that he can do this pose where he's carrying the Nobell Gundam after their first fight. Kind of odd. All the G Gundam kits, well, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them actually came with accessories for other G Gundam kits, which was very unique. Because I don't know what Bandai was doing. I feel like they were really pushing the idea that these could also be action figures, and they really tried to push the collectability of these things, and yet they didn't make a lot of them. So I don't know what Bandai's plan was with the G Gundam line of kits, but anyways, these are cool. They're nice, I suppose. I have an HG God Gundam because this was actually originally meant to be cake toppers for my wife and I's wedding cake. Yeah, real original. But we got way too busy to actually paint these up and do that. So this kind of remained like this. They are hollow on the inside, which is unfortunate, but you know, she's more than likely going to be occupying that space. Anyways, if I end up building that HG God Gundam, I will attempt to pose them with these hands. So as I alluded to earlier, this kit has really good balance. As you can see, it is holding a one-legged pose on a rotating base. So if that doesn't speak to its balance, I'm not sure what else will. Yeah, so this kit is great. Despite being from 2011, I think it just has great looks and proportions. Again, the articulation is a bit hampered by its age, but it can again pull all the poses that you want out of a Gundam like this. Like I said earlier, it's a Sailor Moon Gundam. Either you love it or you hate it. Either you have this kit or you're looking for this kit. I really don't think there's any in between. There are approximately 1 million customs of this. I would hazard to guess this is probably the most customized Gunpla model ever. I'd be willing to put some money on that. So I think it's awesome. Of course, if you want one, go for it. They are a little hard to come by. They tend to sell out once they're in stock. Like I said, of course, many people are looking for the Sailor Moon Gundam. The one that's even harder to find is something called the Berserker mode version, where it kind of has this slight red tint and it comes with a different hairpiece for when Allenby goes into her Berserker mode. That one I'm less interested in. Again, I was more interested in this. So yeah, great kit. Highly recommend it. Again, even for its age, I think it holds up, honestly. So that's it for the review. And so if that's all you came here to see, then just know that, again, I think this kit's great. Go for it. Get it. But now I'm going to do a little something that I usually don't do in videos, and that's some speculation. So Nobell Gundam's going to just take a seat here while I ramble, to be honest. So I just want to talk a little bit about Bandai's current love for G Gundam out of nowhere, it seems, and what we may or may not be getting in the future and what I kind of hope to get in the future. So recently, I want to say within the last 5 or so years, maybe even a little over that, we got the high res God Gundam, we got the metal build God Gundam, we got the RG God Gundam and Shining Gundam, and then we got 3 out of 4 of the Shuffle Alliance, albeit in P Bandai, but whatever. And it's only a matter of time before we get the Bolt Gundam for the complete set. And we randomly got the Mandala Gundam because why not? And so I'm wondering if this is all leading to a possible 2.0 Master Grade of the God Gundam. I certainly hope so. I don't think I would pick it up just because I'm quite happy with the original Master Grade God Gundam, as you'll see in a future review. But it does make me wonder if Bandai could try to do a 1/100 scale Noble Gundam. I would love it. There were plans and drawings and stuff for a canceled, I don't know if it was a Master Grade, but at least a 1/100 Noble Gundam. I think it might have been a Master Grade to sort of join the other G Gundam Master Grade. So they could dig up those plans and make a 1/100 scale of this in a full mechanics line, although I don't know if it would really fit, but it would fit more with the RE100 line, which, believe it or not, is still going, but in P Bandai form. I think they're done with standard releases of the RE100, but this would be a great one to bring it back. Yeah, I mean, it would sell like crazy. Everyone knows it would. Like, if they made a 1/100 Noble Gundam, it would fly off the shelves. They would basically be printing money. So, again, with all this love for G Gundam coming from Bandai out of nowhere, it feels, I certainly hope that something like that comes to fruition, either an MG 2.0 for the God Gundam, or even more like, or an MG Noble Gundam. Some of these people who are like, oh, I want the Tequila Gundam, or like the Holland Gundam, and or the Windmill Gundam, whatever. It ain't gonna happen, guys. It's just not gonna happen. Okay, we know why it's not gonna happen. But for stuff like this is a greater possibility. So, anyways, that's all I wanted to give out in terms of speculation, because I love G Gundam. I grew up with it, and so I'm excited to see more of it from Bandai in general. So thank you all for watching. Thank you especially if you stayed till the end. Stay tuned for more G Gundam content and content in general. I'm currently working on a diorama project for a competition, and I will be filming work in progress videos for that. So that should be a lot of fun. So that's all from me, and I will catch you all next time. Take care.